Welcome to our YouTube video series on employment law, focusing specifically on employee payroll. My name is Christopher Neufeld of Neufeld Legal, and in this particular video, we will be looking at the concept of stat pay, although correctly termed general holiday pay, and how its calculation is not as simple as most employers would want you to believe. As we've previously discussed in other YouTube videos, the term stat pay or statutory holiday pay is actually not found in any employment standards legislation with the exception of British Columbia, and exemplifies an all too frequent simplification of employee payroll and a failure to recognize the very significant distinctions between employment standards legislation. However, it is one thing to simplify the terminology. It is quite another to simplify payroll calculations such that you contravene the applicable employment standards legislation. And this is clearly evident when we look at stat pay in Alberta, which is properly termed general holiday pay. To compute general holiday pay, we cannot simply defer to the most basic of formulas, be it 8 hours at one's base hourly pay or base salary for a single day. However, that is not the formula specified in the Alberta Employment Standards Code, with the actual formulas being far more extensive and containing a multiplicity of variables. When one computes general holiday pay, it is necessary to identify a prescribed 4-week period and proceed to compute the amount of wages for that period. Wages includes regular hourly pay or salary for the period, but also other forms of remuneration, including permissible bonuses, incentives, premiums, allowances, and employer contributions, while excluding overtime pay, general holiday pay, and vacation pay. The total wages for the period are divided by the number of work days within the period to come up with an average daily wage, and it is that average daily wage that is the amount of general holiday pay that is due to the employee on a general holiday. If we complete these mathematical formulas with numbers from employee pay statements and associated employer information, one can see the difference between the simplified approach and the law-abiding approach that is demonstrated in the example. When one considers that this is but a single employee, albeit one that receives significant premiums and incentives for a single holiday, the cost savings to the employer when applied to all employees for all holidays in the year starts to reveal the employer's rationale for not bringing its computations in line with the applicable employment standards legislation. Now, if an employee works on a general holiday, the prior calculation of general holiday pay represents the first part of the payment that is due to the employee. The second part requires a computation of wages for another period of time, which one divides by the number of non-overtime work hours in the period to arrive at the wage rate. The wage rate needs to be multiplied by 1.5 to ascertain the overtime rate, which is then multiplied by the number of hours worked on the general holiday to arrive at the minimum statutory payment required for working on the general holiday. These are clearly not simplistic formulas, although they are relatively straightforward once you delve into the Alberta Employment Standards Code. For salaried employees, the employer's simplification can be even more catastrophic, with even more significant violations of the Alberta Employment Standards Code and prevailing case law, which we have discussed in other YouTube videos, while the extensive mathematical formula remains applicable. Similarly, there are nuanced aspects for construction employees. Yet here again, their general holiday pay is based on wages, not regular hourly pay. So if you thought your employer's simplified approach was satisfactory, think again. General holiday pay is highly elaborate, with a multiplicity of variables to consider and enough mathematical computations, such that you need to be taking this seriously. Otherwise, you are leaving money that you are legally entitled to behind. Thank you.